Okay, hi guys, welcome back. So I've got Tim. We've got a World Cup preview show, prediction show. We're going to go a little crazy. I've got myself a JD and Coke here, settling in. What about yourself, Tim? What you got?
I've gone for something English and something northern as well, because I'm up north. A Faith Pale Ale from the Northern Monk Brewery in Leeds, and it's a nice drop.
Outstanding, good little plug
Cheers.
there. Now, look, we can't let you carry on until you've told us about this crazy trip you've told me about to France. 7 weeks, something like that, on and off. Tell us all about it. Make us jealous. What's going on?
I will get back for a couple of days here and there to make sure I'm still married and that the kids recognise my face. But yes, in a couple of days' time, as we sit and record this, Rich, I'm going to be flying to Paris, pick up a camper van, drive it down to Marseille, which will then go on to Nice, to Lyon via Marseille, and then a few train trips between Lyon and Paris before probably going back to Marseille for the quarterfinals. It's pretty mad. I've basically been bugging my wife. I've been laying the foundations for this for about 10 years, saying I want to do a World Cup or Alliance tour. I really want to do a full World Cup or Alliance tour, and I've been given the green light on this one, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Oh, I hope you have a great time. What tickets, what games have you got?
England v Argentina, Scotland v South Africa, the England v Japan in Nice, Wales v Australia is another highlight, Ireland v South Africa, Scotland v South Africa, and a few others. Loads of really, really amazing ones. I'm doing some work for TalkSport, the radio station. So
yeah. Oh, right. You're documenting a journey for them, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What a great idea.
I know. Bit of a dream gig, to be honest, Rich.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic time. We are all super jealous. But what we're going to do today...
there's a spare bunk in the van if you ever want to pop down.
Well, maybe at the weekend, eh? Catch you up.
You're on.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to try and predict some pools. Actually come up with some quarterfinals. Not going to go any further than that because that would be crazy. We're being stupid enough as it is. But before we do, actually, I just had a quick look at our fantasy league, our Rugby Analyst Egg-Chasers fantasy league, the official World Rugby one. And I think we've got over 1,500 people in there, which is awesome. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Yeah. If you haven't already, please join. Just search Rugby Analyst Egg-Chasers or click the link below. There's a code as well, loads of ways of doing it. And get involved. And at the very least, you're going to beat us, aren't you, surely?
Yeah, we've now got a bit of pressure on now, haven't we? We act like we know something about rugby. We're going to see if we really do. Yeah.
Above halfway, is that good? Or are we pushing?
I'll take that. Top
okay.
Half, I'll take.
Top half. Okay, that's what we're saying. We're saying we're going to be top half and you're going to prove us wrong. How about that?
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Okay, so let's get into it. Pool A. We start with the absolute amazing game, which is only like a few days away, isn't it? France, New Zealand. And points-wise, we're just going to put the points down in the table and I'll get the graphic at the end. But you can get from 0 to 5 points, 4 for a win, 2 for a draw, 0 for a loss. But of course, you can get up to 2 bonus points, scoring 4 or more tries, or losing 7 or less, losing within 7 or less. So you can get from 0 to 5, I believe. So we could go crazy. We could, predict a draw or whatever, or a loss with 2 bonus points.
What a way to begin the tournament. This is unreal. And there's quite a lot of people who are speculating that maybe this might be the bookend. This might be the first fixture and the last fixture.
Just imagine that.
Yeah, imagine. This is the shootout for the winner of Pool A, with the greatest of respect to Italy, you would imagine.
I think it is, yeah.
So in some respects, the result doesn't really matter. And just ask South Africa. They'll tell you that from 4 years ago.
True, but it matters to the French fans, that's for sure.
100%. I totally agree. And despite Dante and Willems...
massive blow.
Massive loss and no Cyril by, I still back France to come through this one. I think they've just got, and Ntamak, of course, I think they've just got too many world-class players. Even with those players unavailable, I see them winning, and I think they'll win by more than 7, but they won't score 4 tries. So I'm going to go 4-0.
Yeah, do you know what? I think I agree. I think they will take what we've seen. They're going to take their points, aren't they? They're going to get Ramos to knock the points over. 4 tries in an opening game. It's a bit of a push, isn't it? So I think that's boring if sensible. But I don't know, that Dante one knocked me for 6 a bit there, Tim, because I thought they were coping well, but I don't know if they can replace him. Just makes me
totally agree that the drop off from Dante is absolutely massive. And it's one thing like Cyril Bay, and there's another couple of players, there's another player or two, isn't there, who will be returning. And hopefully Dante's not going to be out for too long. But at least he is returning. At least you're thinking quarter final. That's when they really need him.
Yeah, I think confidence plays a factor here as well, because New Zealand aren't a bad side overnight by losing to South Africa, but they were shocked by the way they lost. And I know there was a red card, but that's definitely going to knock the confidence a bit, and the crowd's up. I think you would say that sheer emotional fervour would probably take France through. So
yeah, I think a little bit might have been read. A little bit too much may have been read into that New Zealand defeat to South Africa. They had only been in England after traveling from literally the other side of the world for five days previous, and they hadn't played for a couple of weeks. So I don't think there'll be too much panic in New Zealand quarters. But if they back up losing to South Africa heavily and then get trundled by France, then they'll start. Then we'll see what they're made of. But I think France should have enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it in my spreadsheet. I think that's 4 points to 0. That is not the scoreline. That's what we're saying the pool points will be. But I mean, just the noise of that first game is just going to be something to behold. Those people, if anyone is there, please drop a comment and tell us what it was like. Yeah. That'd be phenomenal.
Oh wow.
Okay,
amazing.
And then we start rattling through a bit now. So then we have Italy, Namibia, and I've got fairly high hopes for Italy. Their performance, I don't think they're going to get through, but I'm really liking where they're going, the trajectory of their national team. Is this an easy win for Italy?
Yeah, we can just chalk this one up as 5 points to 0, can't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think Italy, they're not a slow team, are they? They go for it. So Italy, 5. Yep. Namibia, Italy, 0. Let us know if you disagree. Then France, who will probably rest. Now, the second game in, I think, was it 6 days from that opener? So short turnaround. I'm sure we're going to see everyone get on the field. Now, it's a good chance for France to go first team and then everyone get in the field. No disrespect to Uruguay. Another 5-0?
Yep.
Okay, so France, Uruguay, 5-0. Now, talking of the smaller teams, actually, Tim, whilst I pop this in, are there any of the smaller teams you are actually looking out for who are proper dark horses? Now, I don't mean the Pacific Islands. We'll talk about them, but other ones.
I don't. Outside of the Pacific Islands, well, and obviously Georgia, because Georgia, I kind of think are in that middle tier. They're above Uruguay and Romania and the rest. But I suppose, yeah, I'm hoping we'll get onto Pool C in the video on my channel, but I'm hoping that there might be plenty of upsets. That would be a place where it looks like another pool of death in Pool C.
I mean, upsets, they make tournaments, don't they? Everyone likes them, unless it's your team that is being upset. Everyone likes them. I mean, who can forget Japan, South Africa, the ultimate?
Even at the last World Cup, that was the ultimate. You're right. But even at the last World Cup, Uruguay beating Fiji. The captain, what was his name? I can't remember the skipper's name, but the flanker just bursting into tears in the interview afterwards.
Absolutely.
I'm actually really looking forward to, and I think I've got it down on my list, a couple of Uruguay v Namibia. I'm looking forward to some of those games because that is effectively their World Cup final, trying to come away with a win.
Yeah, that's it.
It'll be massive for them.
I wonder if they will actually play slightly weaker teams against games they probably aren't going to win and save players for those big games. What do you reckon? So, like,
possibly,
New Zealand...
although if you were one of those players and you're at the World Cup, I think you just want to play, just put me in every game. But yeah, I think the coaches may do a bit of that. I think because also you want to, probably everyone will, knowing that it doesn't really matter whether they win or lose, beyond pride. Every player would want to play at some point. So yeah, I think you're probably right there.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because the next game, New Zealand, Namibia have just played Italy. Super tough game. I'm sure they'll have started with their best team. Then they play New Zealand. again, I think that's a 6-day turnaround. And then their next game a week later is France. I mean, those guys are going to be just get them some ice baths, one each at least.
But is that the next fixture that we're popping in the spreadsheet? That's another 5-0 then, isn't it? Let's just get that one done.
I think so. New Zealand, Namibia, 5 for New Zealand, Namibia, New Zealand, 0. Then we got Italy, Uruguay. Do we think they could do anything there other than a 5-0? Could that
I think they can give a good account of themselves. Uruguay have got some handy players. Sergio Arata, the scrum half, really like him. He's a genuinely good scrum half. But no, Italy are too good.
We think they're going to score 4 again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Italy are going to be full of tries. Definitely. They're going to be a team to watch. It's a shame that they probably go out at the pool stage, but they're a team to watch, aren't they? They're exciting.
Yeah, they probably need, you'd look at Italy's best matchup and you think they have beaten France before. Even in France, they would fancy their chances in a one-off game. So kind of, I think for Italy to have a chance and there be something on it, they will want New Zealand to win the first game so that they're going into the last game with a chance of progression. But like you say, it's unlikely, which is a shame for them.
Then France take on Namibia, which is going to have to be a 5-0. Yeah. France, Namibia. So actually, this Pool A is probably, apart from that first game, is the least exciting, isn't it, on paper?
Yeah.
Unless something absolutely crazy happens.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there are permutations for the quarterfinal. Even if France beat New Zealand, there is permutations for the quarterfinal in that last game, France, Italy. So I guess the first and last games will be really worth watching. Yeah. They'll all be worth watching, but you understand my point.
Absolutely. Okay, then a tricky one. Uruguay, Namibia.
Yeah, this is tricky.
It's a tricky one. I mean, I'm probably picking on Namibia, maybe. Let me scroll up their results they got pre-World Cup. So we got Namibia. They narrowly lost to an Argentinian 15. They lost to Uruguay. Then they beat Chile. So maybe you go Uruguay then.
I don't know why. I think it's just because I really like that scrum half Arata. And they had that moment in the last World Cup. I'm just gonna edge Uruguay, but that one, I think I'll have to check. I'm pretty sure I'm going to that game, and that's one of the ones I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, and absolutely. They probably will have lost most other games, or every other game. So this is the one. This is their final.
Yeah.
Lots of tries or not?
No, let's go for. I'll go 4 points to 1 point.
4 points, and then
4 to Uruguay, 1 to Namibia.
Well, yeah, 4 to Uruguay.
Are we agreeing on all of these, or are you doing 2 different pools based on our separate results?
No,
we're agreeing.
If we disagree, then should we take it in turns, having the
all right,
the overall
casting vote?
Yeah, do you want?
Yeah.
First or second? You have first.
Yeah. So I'll if I need to pull rank on this one, I'll pull rank and say Uruguay 4 points, 1 point.
But you don't. So
I don't need to. So okay, cool. I'll keep that up my sleeve.
Right, New Zealand, Italy. That could be an interesting game. Could Italy get?
Italy have never beaten New Zealand. They've been beaten heavily in several World Cup encounters. I just think matchup wise, this will be the real measure of Italy, and because again, this is a fixture that comes around so rarely.
Yeah.
That hopefully, what I'm hoping is that we see the progression that they have made. I don't see beyond a 5 point victory for New Zealand.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I could maybe give Italy a bonus point, but probably unlikely.
It's unlikely, but I mean, they both have been well rested. I think New Zealand will have like 2 weeks, and Italy 9 days or something like that. They'll be well rested, so I think we'll see full strength teams. Can we see Italy scoring 4 against New Zealand? Yeah, I don't think we can we?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably a 5-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And then we've got New Zealand, Uruguay, and that's just a 6-day turnaround for New Zealand, who will probably again rest their first choice players for the quarterfinal.
Yes, they will.
So we thinking of 5-0 though?
Yeah.
5-0. Was Uruguay, New Zealand. Yeah, hopefully I've got this right. And then there's one more match. Okay, then France, Italy.
It'll be 5 points to France, and just a question of whether you think 0 or 1 for Italy. Do they get a bonus point in this one?
Go on. Let's say they have a stormer in their last game. France rest a load of players. They're disjointed. Italy know it's they're going out, so everyone takes the pitch, even if they're half injured, and they get something out of it. Maybe even losing bonus point.
Losing bonus point or a try bonus point. Yeah, let's go for that. 5-1.
5-1. Yeah. So then Italy, France 1. And what have I got? One box left. That is France, Namibia. Namibia we said get 0 from that one. Okay. So pop up on the screen. This is how it would look. We've got 19 points to France, 15 to New Zealand, a very respectable 11 for Italy, 4 for Uruguay, and Namibia come away with something. Maybe we're being nice, I don't know, but they come away with something. They get a point. So our winners of A is France, and then the runner-up of A is New Zealand.
That was just a little warm-up for the main event now. Here we go with Pool B, the gladiatorial beatdown between 3 of the best 5 nations on earth.
Absolutely. I mean, I did a video recently saying, look, because the draw is so lopsided, the positive is there's jeopardy all the time. It's super exciting, but it is a shame. I mean,
it is a shame.
Yeah.
Some of these pool games are absolutely fantastic. The quarterfinals are going to be incredible.
That's the benefit of the lopsided draw. That
is the benefit, that it may lose a little bit of momentum in the semi-final stage, oddly. A bit of steam may be taken out of it, and that's one concern. If you have real comfortable wins in a semi-final, that's not really what you want to see at a World Cup.
No,
but it could be the consequence.
Yeah, we will see. But certainly, up to the quarterfinals, it's looking stellar. And as an Englishman, I mean, I have to say it, Scotland are boxers. I love watching Scotland. They're just amazing to watch. And we know Ireland and South Africa are class, and they've all got slightly different styles. You know, if you were to generalize completely, you'd say South Africa one end of the spectrum, Scotland the other, and Ireland somewhere in the middle. I mean, how would you summarize them?
Traditionally, that's the case, and absolutely, like South Africa have got, you know, they can ramp their forward game right up to 10, but they've added something in the last 4 years, and they're going sooner and from deeper and wider, and they're playing with a bit more ambition. They used to like batter teams for 60 minutes and then let Colby and Mapimpi let rip, and now they're going sooner and earlier, and it's really exciting. Equally, Scotland have got a bit of dog about them.
If they remember, if they. I mean, Finn Russ, they can get excited and they can push it too early. And against big defences, they could gobble that up. That's the thing with Scotland.
100%. Equally, I think Scotland have to try and go and play with no fear. They have to. Yeah. Like the World Cups, if they start to tense up and play a more attritional game or don't take risks, then I don't see them beating either Ireland or South Africa. If they go with what they've been doing and just roll in the dice from time to time, I think they've got a chance. And I think you're right to say Ireland have probably got all bases covered in styles of play. They to the point that they can just almost with a hive mind just kind of flip the way they want to play mentally, and we'll stick it up our jumper for 10 minutes when we got a man in the bin and we all know what we're doing, and then right, let's go, like we saw against England. It's on, their men down, let's just get it wide coast to coast, and just a smart team. So yeah, this is fascinating.
It is, and even though it's the pool of death, I would have to say Ireland do have the better draw here, because they start first game Ireland, Romania, then it builds up to Tonga, and then it gets into the big two, if you like. So if you were to design it for Andy Farrell, I think this is how he would design it.
I agree for the pool stage. I also think just flipping it around is actually, that means they would have to play South Africa, Scotland, quarterfinal, semi-final, final to win a World Cup, which is backing 5 games back to back, which
they can't look ahead, can they? It's all about
they can't look beyond the pool stage. Obviously, no team in this pool can.
Take your point. So going there, Ireland, Romania. I imagine they open up with
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do their team, to be honest. It's a 7-day turnaround. Maybe their first choice team.
I think it'll be first choice team.
Yeah.
I would if I were them. They've only played 2 warm-up games.
Exactly. Yeah. So 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 5-0. Ireland, Romania, Ireland, 0. Then straight in, boom. Scotland, South Africa, Scotland. Whoa. I mean,
can't wait for this one.
Absolutely belter. I mean, whoever loses still has a chance, of course, but it's all about momentum and, you know, motivation, all that sort of stuff. Isn't confidence? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Rich, when you said that the different styles and the different matchups. I think it is all going to be about the matchup. You can have the same Scotland team up against different oppositions, and it can have a massive effect on how they perform, and vice versa. And I just think when you look at matchups, Scotland won't be able to live with the heat that South Africa can bring up front.
I don't think it's the best matchup for Scotland. You're right, because we've seen from South Africa their defence is really good, really well organised, and they get in those passing lanes, and they're really annoying, and they barely miss a tackle. So they could well say, okay, well, we're not going to let Scotland play, but they'll be confident that they can keep Scotland out for long enough, let them kind of blow themselves out a little bit, and then off they go. I don't know. So are we thinking South Africa?
I'm thinking South Africa. I just can't decide whether they will score 4 tries or not. They've got tries in them. I can see this one being quite a tight, nervous affair. So I'm thinking 4-0, but I don't know what do you reckon, Rich?
I'm not, because I think Scotland, like you say, they know they have to go for it. If they're going to beat South Africa, they need to score a crap load of points, basically.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to leave gaps and interceptions and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
I just got a feeling it's going to be 4 tries to Scotland, maybe, but South Africa win it.
5-1.
Really,
so 5
really
points,
high
1
scoring.
point then. Okay, I can go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need to use an overall there.
Nope.
Okay. So that's gonna be a game to watch then, isn't it? South Africa 5, Scotland 1, and these points, if they get these bonus points, these could be big.
Absolutely massive.
Or do we give them 2? Do we give them 2? Do they get within 7?
I'm going to stick with 1. Stick with 1.
Yeah. Okay. Tempted with 2, but yeah. I mean, if they're going to lose to South Africa, you think at some point South Africa really get on top of them.
Yeah.
And then it could get away. Okay, then Ireland. Tonga. So building up, Tonga better than Romania, but probably of the 3 Pacific islands, would you say they're the 3rd strongest?
Yeah, I think so. It's great to see Charles Piutau and Adam Coleman and a couple of others playing and back in the ranks. Both of those guys pulled on a New Zealand jersey. I think Charles Piutau might have been like once or twice. And
is Fekitoa there as well?
Fekitoa, yeah, some absolutely brilliant players. Yeah. So that'll be great. So they'll want to take a scalp. I don't think they will, but it's just great to see them on the world stage again. Those players, and I think they'll rattle a few cages with some of the hits that they'll put in. But Ireland will have far too much for them, and it'll be a 5-0 victory.
Are we going to go crazy at some point and predict a little bit of a shock? I just wonder. Have you had enough of your beer yet?
I'll have a little bit more. Let's see how we go. Why do you think Tonga could throw an upset?
I think they could get close, mate. I just wonder. At some point, one of these big teams, I'm just like, this is complete speculation. One of these big teams is going to have a little bit of an off day, and someone could get pretty close. I just wonder if this is one of them. I don't know, because they've got South Africa next. They've got 7 days. Do they rest a few players for that game? And it gets a bit disjointed. So Ireland 5.
In fact, this is where when you look at this pool, this is one of the real tough parts, isn't it? Because you have to have faith in your entire 33-man squad, because you need to win every game, and you can't drop your guard for a minute. As you say, bonus points could be absolutely massive at the end of it. So, and that's where I think you look at South Africa, and they've got total confidence in almost every position, and I think Ireland are pretty much there as well.
Can I tempt you with a point for Tonga there? that they get close on this one.
Tonga within 7 points of Ireland. Go on then. Yeah,
okay.
Ireland makes some changes. Aren't
Yeah.
quite at their best. Tonga have a great day and get within 7. All right.
Yeah. Another thing as well, the teams that come out of this pool could be really badly beaten up. You know, it's because it's the toughest pool. They could come out of it with momentum and confidence and all this sort of stuff, but physically they could be a lot more bashed up than France and New Zealand, especially.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Which is why I think a lot of people are wondering if the first fixture is the last fixture, probably for that reason.
Yeah. So South Africa, Romania, 5-0.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. Then we go South Africa, Ireland, which is why I think Ireland might just rest a few players for that Tonga game. And I'm sure South Africa will actually rest a few for the Romania game, and because they want to be full bore for South Africa, Ireland.
What a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a game.
I'm waiting for you to go because I don't want to call it.
I honestly, I could change my mind every 5 minutes on what I think. My gut is saying Ireland are going to win. They've got the muscle memory of beating this team and beating every team. They'll have had a couple of games to ease themselves into it. I'm just going to edge Ireland, but probably 4 points and a losing bonus point for South Africa. And that's kind of the way I'm edging it. What are you thinking, Rich?
Well, this is a gut call, isn't it? I mean, from what we've seen in the warm-ups, I think you'd say South Africa, but Ireland have been a lot slower, maybe deliberately in their build-up. I don't know if they're conscious of not showing their hand and all that sort of thing. Ireland come with all their tricks and they unleash some stuff that we haven't seen before. And they do what they can do and play one of the absolute beauties of a game. I mean, we have no idea, do we? But
I looked down that list, guys that won't be playing at the next World Cup. You wouldn't imagine. Tyg Furlong, Johnny Sexton, Tyg Byrne. I mean, probably Robbie Henshaw as well, possibly. These are world-class talents that are at the peak of their powers in some cases. And I just think mentally, they have toughened up so much the last couple of years. And this is the game when being world number one, Grand Slams is great and nothing to be sniffed at. But this is the moment where we're going to find out what this Andy Farrell Island team is made of.
True.
What minerals they've got.
The problem is South Africa, I've said, they are better than they were in 2019. And Libbok at 10 gives them that extra dimension. They get the ball wider quicker. Do you know what? I fancy calling a draw. I've had half my drink and I fancy calling a draw. And
You'd get great odds on that. You would get great odds on that. I mean, purely because the odds are so slim on any draw on a rugby field.
Absolutely.
I'm playing my overall card, and I love the idea, Rich. But I'm playing my overall card. I could be persuaded it would be South Africa. I'm just, for whatever reason, I'm saying Ireland.
Yeah, it's too many points involved. It's very unlikely, but you know the matchup is a draw in my eyes. But okay, so. We're saying Ireland, just, but that could hinge on one bit of ill discipline, one poor decision, and the game is done. So I'm thinking not 4 tries.
Yeah, 4 points, 1 point.
4 points, 1 point. Okay, South Africa fans, many apologies. Maybe it's some Northern Hemisphere bias, but we had to call somebody.
Difficult.
It's so difficult. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Okay. Scotland, Tonga. Scotland.
Week off. They had a week off after their first game against South Africa.
Yeah. So they're probably playing.
They're going to be fresh. They're going to have licked their wounds. They're going to know what they need to do. They're going to know they need to score every bonus point they can. And I think you'll see the best foot forward with Scotland in this, and they'll get 5 points.
High scoring game, I think. I think I'd give Tonga maybe 4 tries.
Yeah, go on then. 5 points, 1 point. Like it.
Let's say it's an absolute end-to-end game. Then 6 days later, Scotland have to back up against Romania, which I imagine they will absolutely rest players for.
Yep, 5-0.
No disrespect, but I think that is going to be 5-0. Yeah.
Yep.
Romania, Scotland. Someone wants to come in on the action, but I'm not going to let them. They're coming in anyway. Okay. Then we will go for... They're just coming in anyway. A biscuit. Okay. I got to apologise. It was a biscuit delivery, freshly baked. It was me, not,
Oh,
and I wasn't going to let
what?
them in. I wasn't
See,
going to.
it's a tough call between being totally fine with me going away for weeks on
Thank
end
you.
to a World Cup and baking biscuits. Rich,
I know.
I'll take the biscuits, mate.
It's all going to be home cooked camper fan food for you, isn't it?
Mm.
You a good cook?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Don't do a bad cock of van actually, so I might have to do that.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. Anyway, where were we? No idea.
Scotland are just pumped. Oh no,
Scotland, Romania.
Scotland are just pumped Romania.
Okay. Then it's South Africa's last pool game against Tonga, and they've had 8 days to recover from that. So,
and they now know that they need bonus points in case Scotland spring an upset. So
we've said they've lost, so they are not going to rest
they're
anyone.
going all out. They can't really sit back. They know they've got a week off the following weekend, so they'll go big and score maximum points.
That'd be great. If that was the scenario, that would be a great game.
Yeah.
Tonga knowing they could get a crazy upset. Anything for Tonga there?
No,
I don't think so. Then finishing off. So hang on, let's see how that goes. So at that point, we have South Africa on 16 points, Ireland 14. So South Africa played all their games here, of course. Scotland on 11. So we have Ireland versus Scotland. Scotland need to go above Ireland in this game.
4-0 would do it.
So any sort of win, sort of win over 7 points would do it for Scotland.
Yeah, because even if Ireland got 2 losing bonus points, if they're tied on points, it would go to a head-to-head. If this is how it is poised at the end of the pool.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, this would be incredible for neutrals. The nerve. Oh, I can't imagine the nerves.
Absolutely. I mean, Ireland have won the big games in the past. They've got that big game pedigree, haven't they?
Yeah, but Scotland know they can. Just again, it's a known quantity. They've done it before. They've competed, and there's just something about Finn Russell. You just when you watch him in the warm-ups, the way he's just like got his headphones in and he's just doing little dances and stuff, has in between kicks. He's the most chilled man on earth. Whether he was playing in his back garden or whether he's playing at the Stade de France in an effective knockout game in the World Cup against Ireland, he'd just be like, "Yeah, bring it on, love it." So
he acts like someone who knows they're just that little bit better than everyone else, because they are.
And that's the kind of that must have a massive influence on the rest of the Scotland team. A lot of youngsters in that team as well.
Okay. Do you know what I'll call here?
Yeah,
I would say Ireland win a close game. Scotland within 7.
Yeah. If in this game, that's what I want from this game, is that the result to not be out of question with 20 minutes to go. Can you imagine?
So Ireland win, but Scotland within 7.
Yeah.
And that would do it for Ireland. They would top the group. So just finishing off quickly, not to be rude here. So we've got Tonga, Romania. A Romania point. We'll give Romania a point. Yeah, give Romania a point, definitely. Okay. So I may well have done this wrong for those two actually on the table on the screen. Apologies if I have. But for the top 3, it would be Ireland topping the group with 18, South Africa second with 16, and Scotland 11. So apologies, Scotland fans. Anything can happen, of course. But Ireland going through as winners of B would face New Zealand, my friend.
Who would, right, if you were Andy Farrell or Jacques Nienaber and Rassie Erasmus, who would you, well, just on Andy Farrell with Ireland, who would you prefer if you could just pick your quarterfinal opponent? South Africa and Ireland they wouldn't say this out loud because it would be like red rag to a bull motivation. In fact, in rugby league in England, they did something like this once. In the playoffs, they had a thing called club call where the team that finished first got to pick their opponent. And the number of times that the team that they picked beat them just purely because they were like, "All right, you thought you find it easy against us, we'll show you." Well, and they got rid of that idea. They got rid of it. I think
the styles make for great games here. We've got Ireland, New Zealand, very quick ball movement teams. Both want to play, maybe a bit more than the other two. And then we've got France, South Africa.
That game in Paris last autumn, one of the best rugby matches I've watched in years. It was brutal.
And the
It was brutal.
And this highlights how lopsided, how bad that draw was, really, because two of these guys go out. Ireland or New Zealand, France or South Africa, we will not see in the semis or the final, which is a crying shame, isn't it?
It is. It really is. But these quarterfinals, as a result, oh my goodness, can you imagine being in the stadium for these two in Paris?
France, South Africa, French crowd. Wow. Just wow. Okay, there we go. That's where it is. I'll pop the tables up there, pop the quarterfinals up for Pool A and Pool B. Thank you very much for joining us, but do join us for part 2 over on Tim's channel, Egg Chasers. We'll see you there.
Cheers, Rich.